Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Day Shift / Tips, Topics, and Talk. Happy Bowen De Leon. Welcome. Come on in. Welcome to the Day Shift. Here in the Brownstone, I'm Paulette. I'm the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide. And if you're new here, it houses brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, Brownstone Living magazine. Y'all, we have a whole lot to cover. Like I always tell everybody that is familiar with us, grab your coffee, cheers, grab your water, put your magnesium or whatever that you have that you want to take and put in there to calm your nerves. Because, baby, listen, we're going in. And it is important that you know exactly what is going on. So let's start at the top, shall we? How you feeling about your money this morning? Let's talk about the Dow. You know I had to do it, right? Like it's imperative that we talk about your money. So according to CNBC, we are headed towards the worst Dow since 1932. Has that sunk in yet? 1932. What was happening in 1932? Y'all know me. The first thing that I'm going to do is do what? I'm going to go look it up because I think it's important for us to look up things. Because the issue is that market being down like that is a problem. So let's talk about it. U.S. shares dropped yesterday with the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping by about 970 points. Exactly. Kathy, Keyshawn, you hit it right on the nose, preparing it for its worst month in April since the Great Depression of 1932. Concerns over U.S. President Donald Trump's trade policies and his escalating feud with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell hung over the markets as per IndyStar report. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 2.8%, Standard & Poor's 500 slumped 2.36%, and the NASDAQ fell 2.55%. And benchmark 10-year yield increased to 4.413, according to the report. Now, Monday's losses actually added to last week's drop as stocks had ended last week in the red, making it the third out of 4 losing weeks for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Chicago Federal Reserve President Austin Goolsbee told CBS in an interview that U.S. President's tariffs might lead U.S. economic activity to, quote, fall off by the summer from artificially high activity caused by panic purchasing ahead of the tariffs. I said that was going to happen. I said that was going to happen. I don't know if any of you all were live with me when I talked about that. But the panic purchasing is what's starting to stave off now. I'm going to be honest with you. I had a lot of friends who have businesses where a lot of their products, if not all of their products, and materials to create the products that they have come from China. They started panic purchasing right after the election was confirmed because they already knew. Thank you so much for that, Zaid. They already knew, and they were like, I might need to go ahead and get all my stuff now because, I'm really not sure how I'm going to handle X, Y, and Z. And so here we are, okay? Now, when we're talking about 1932, I'm sure many of you all remember the stories that you've heard. If you're not old enough to remember 1932 and the Great Depression, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go look it up. I'm not going to talk about it because I wasn't there. I read about it. I learned about it in school. I learned how it happened. It was a worldwide economic downturn that started in 1929 and lasted until 1939. It was the longest and most severe depression experienced in the Western world. It sparked fundamental changes in economic institutions, macroeconomic policy, and economic theory. And although it did originate in the US of A, the Great Depression caused drastic declines in output, severe unemployment, and acute deflection or deflation in almost every country in the world. The social and cultural effects were no less staggering, especially in the United States, where the Great Depression represented the harshest adversity by Americans since the Civil War. Let's dig a little bit deeper because history does what? It repeats itself. So let's do a little bit of research. The timing and severity of the Great Depression varied substantially across countries. The Depression was particularly long and severe in the United States and Europe. It was actually milder in Japan and much of Latin America. And it'll be the same now because we're there, we're at that edge, right? And when you think about it, if you really sit back and you look at it, what is America dealing with internally right now? We're dealing with an administration that thinks that the tariffs and siphoning us off from the rest of the world and reducing the amount of allies that we have is the key to greater sustainability and economic growth in this country. And we're seeing that that's not the case. Because like China said last week, we've been here 5,000 years. We do not care. Do you remember that meme? We do not care. Same thing. Woodrow Wilson was the president of the United States of America at the time. Your great grandmother was from Oklahoma, told all kinds of stories. Everyone was working in crop sharing. Woodrow Wilson. So let's do this, shall we? Let's find out what he did. Perhaps not surprisingly, the worst depression ever experienced by the world economy stemmed from a multitude of causes. Let's check this out first, okay? Declines in consumer demand. Is that happening right now? You know how it's happening? Because now we know where our money is going and we're making choices. So decline in consumer demand. What else? What else do we know? Boycotts are happening right now. A lot more of us are making decisions to either stick with what we got or shop local. That's something else. Financial panics and misguided government policies causing economic output to fall in the United States. Isn't that what's happening right now? The gold standard, actually, according to last night's report that I did, the gold standard has actually risen like 4%. The recovery from the Great Depression was spurred largely by the abandonment of the gold standard and the ensuing monetary expansion. Pause. The recovery of the Great Depression was spurred largely by the abandonment of the gold standard and the ensuing monetary expansion. What's happening right now? What was that monetary expansion? I'm actually looking it up myself. Of or relating to money or to the mechanisms by which it is supplied to and circulates in. Yep, but what are they working on? That's why 47 is buying up the gold. Also, why they are looking to mine. Correct, but there's something else that we're missing. And I need us to pay attention to this. And I apologize if this is not as emotional. I need us to be paying attention from all sides. Big head, big eyeballs, all the way around. Bingo. You caught that. Zay hit it right on the nose. Bingo. Crypto. There you go. So in the middle of all of this, what's going to happen, and it's already happening right now, you'll notice that there you go. Some of your banks or whatever, now they're accepting crypto as forms of payment. Some companies and places that you purchase things from now are starting to accept 100% digital currency. How many of you all actually use cash in your daily purchases? Very rarely, if at all, right? And this is what that monetary expansion is looking to be like. And that's the only thing in my head when I reviewed this briefly is it's got to be crypto. Something else that I was listening to this morning, and I actually wanted to kind of share this with you guys, was a professor. What was his name? I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm actually on my Facebook page now because this is so important. This professor literally is talking about economics and how every U.S. president knew how to change and adjust the markets. Donald Trump is no different. He knows exactly what he's doing. His cabinet knows exactly what they're doing, causing all of this. They have the power to do it. And according to this report that I was looking at, I'm gonna have to pull it and share with you guys. His name is Professor Jeffrey Sachs. And this whole post is about Trump's idiotic trade policy on tariffs. But he goes into further detail about how each one of the presidents knew exactly how to manipulate the markets and either crash it or have it go up and down. And he literally moved his hand like this. And he says that they knew how to do it. They chose not to. Except this guy. And so when we're talking about manipulating the markets, we've witnessed him do it. Hi, Crystal. Hey, Paula. And so when we're witnessing this going on and they're telling us that this is happening right now, we have to deduce that ultimately this is planned. Now, it started as an ordinary recession in 1929, and the downturn became markedly worse. However, in late 1929 and until early 1933, real output and prices fell precipitously. Between the peak and the trough of the downturn, industrial production in the United States declined 47%, and real GDP fell 30%. What kind of industrial production do we currently have in the US of A, if any, that is long-term impactful? Because of NAFTA and other trade agreements, where is most of our stuff produced? These are the conversations we need to be having. Yes, pay attention to what's happening. Bingo, you got it. In China, overseas. Who will be impacted the most by this? The American consumer. The American working people are going to be the ones, the small businesses that don't have enough money to pay that tariff bill. So their products are going to sit where? At the port. Because they ain't got it, cuz. They don't have it. So ultimately, what's going to end up happening? We're going to start seeing empty shelves. All we have to do is follow the crumbs that were left for us from previous decades. And we're witnessing it right now. We're witnessing it right now. Okay? So I need us to really start paying attention to what's happening and how this is going. What do we need to do? Those are conversations we need to be having within ourselves. I know here we talk all of the time about starting your gardens. Start getting, when that farmer, that black farmer we talked about, and I sent you guys over to her page, and she talked about all of the things that you need to start doing now because they're already feeling it as farmers. Take it to the bank. Prepping. You've been prepping since 1991. Oh, Kayshawn, you're not playing. Where your canned goods at? Are you canning? Did you start your garden? These are things that we definitely need to be talking about right now. What does your money look like? If the Dow dropped, what does your 401k look like? Do you have enough to diversify? Do you have enough to pick up some crypto? Start asking yourself these questions. And listen, y'all, do not be afraid to look at your money. This is not the time to put your head in the sand, and this is not fear mongering. This is, all right, I already see what's ahead of me. What do I need to do now that I haven't already been doing? And if I didn't do it, what can I start doing at this very moment so I can remain proactive? That's just me. I'm here for it. And I need us to think like that. You've had a garden for the longest time. I'm going to be honest with you. I need to start over. I put my plants outside too soon. They're still there, but I definitely need to get back there probably over the next day or so and really dig around after I finished my workday and dig in and see what's going on back there because y'all, Molly, we in danger, girl. And all we need to do is just literally just be prepared. A lot of things are going to be changing. If you're selling anything online, you might as well, you might want to consider having a flash sale so you can start having some money put up and then diversify where you're going to put your funds. You know what? At the end of the day, that's what Paulette's going to be doing. Because again, what's going to happen for me as a business owner, I have 4 people that work for me. They do not care. They care about me as a person. I'm sure they care about me in the business. But when it comes to getting paid, guess what they want to do? They want to get paid for the work that they produce. Period. All right. We're not going to stay down that rabbit hole because I don't think that it is most healthy. But I definitely wanted to share with you guys about that because it is important for you to know what in the world is going on. We do not need to be in the dark. And what I don't want us to do is to end up getting pieces of information. That's why I'm glad that we kind of tear things apart and kind of look at different things or whatever. We can get passionate and talk about things and dog out the administration. Please walk away with information that you can use that is productive so that you are ahead of the game as opposed to going, well, what are we going to do now? No, do not let that be you. Let's talk about student loans. Now, The Trump administration and this woman who said that AI was A1 sauce, I don't understand how you do that. But you know what? When your husband is a billionaire, you can sit and do whatever you want to. How about that? Okay. All right. Now let's talk about those student loans and what is happening. And I talked about it yesterday. Student loans and why we need to handle our business, because I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I have two outstanding student loans. You ready? Sit down. You ready? Hey, Poobah. We're gonna definitely talk about this. Education Department will begin collection next month on student loans that are in default. Not delinquent, default. Including the garnishing of wages for potentially millions of borrowers, officials said Monday. Currently, roughly 5.3 million borrowers are in default on their federal student loans. The Trump administration's announcement marks an end to a period of leniency that began during the COVID-19 pandemic. No federal student loans have been referred for collection since March 2020, including those that were in default. Now, under President Joe Biden, the Education Department tried multiple times to give broad forgiveness of student loans, only to be continuously stopped by the courts. Y'all remember that. This is not that long ago. American taxpayers will no longer be forced to serve as collateral for irresponsible student loan policies. Now, that's according to Linda McMahon, the billionaire's wife, Linda McMahon. Let me say that again. The billionaire's wife, Linda McMahon. So beginning May 5th, the department will begin involuntary collection through the Treasury Department's offset program, which holds government payments, including tax refunds, federal salaries, and other benefits from people with past due debts to the government. After a 30-day notice, the department also will begin garnishing wages for borrowers in default. The decision to send debt to collections drew criticism from advocates who said borrowers had experienced whiplash and confusion with the changing student loan policies between the Biden and Trump administrations. This is cruel, unnecessary, and will further fan the flames of economic chaos for working families across the country. Now, that's according to Mike Pierce. He's the executive director for the Student Borrower Protection Center. Already, many borrowers have been bracing for obligations coming due. Now, Trump himself was the one who paused the loan repayments in 2020. Hey, Deals with Nia, how you doing? He also paused interest accrual in 2020. Remember when he did that? This was during COVID. The pause in payments was extended multiple times by the Biden administration through 2023, and a final grace period for loan repayments ended in October of 2024. And that means that tens of millions of Americans, including myself, had to start making payments again. I myself had registered for an income-based repayment plan, last year. Mine came due in January of this year. Now, here's something to exactly. He is. Absolutely. But this is where some of y'all might leave this live. What he's doing is just turning the lights back on, y'all. This is not a new program. This was what was done before COVID. If you are old enough to have any kind of student loans, even going back to the 70s or 80s and past that, in the 80s, if you had a student loan and you didn't pay that bad boy, they garnished your government payments. What was that? If you had Social Security coming in, they took it. If you had, and they weren't kind about it either. Let's be clear. This is when Trump had books and stuff, and he was doing all that foolery and building hotels and stuff. So this was before he even considered getting into politics. The government was already doing it. So he's not doing anything that hadn't already been done. What the issue is doing it in the midst of everything that's going on with the layoffs and companies losing things and people not being able to afford affordable housing. Things are much higher than they were back then. Do you think that people are concerned about a what? A student loan? Let me bring it back, because now I'm just, for me, from my personal perspective, even though I have applied again for the IDR and they've already told me how much my payments are going to be, I'm good. However, there are people that are not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're mad. They ticked off. They upset. And I'm going to tell you something right now from personal experience. When I was expecting Aaliyah, Lily, my baby girl that's getting ready to graduate from college, this is a true story. This really, really happened to me. I was getting back a measly $1,200, and she was due at the end of February. And I needed that $1,200 to get some extra stuff, pay down some bills, because I knew I was going to be out of work for 6 weeks, right? Y'all, I forgot that I was in default. Guess how much my return was? If you haven't seen the video that I posted earlier this morning, it was 1 cent. Uncle Sam came and took my whole tax return. I was fit to be tied, because it was just what I needed to save me from making a decision to go home to go be with my dad. I was a grown woman. I was 30. How old was I? 32? I was 32. And I had to go and stay with my dad because there was nothing left. There was literally nothing left. And I was getting ready to be out of work. And so I had to think fast. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What I'm telling y'all is this isn't new. Is it an inopportune time? You better know it is. But all she's doing, and see, don't give this woman too much credit, because she thought AI was A1. Okay? Don't give her no, I'm sorry, just don't do it. This is not, listen, I'm gonna say it again, folks. For those of you all, then I had a couple people get mad and they sent nasty messages. This ain't about you. Yes, it is. I had 2 student loans still outstanding. Yeah. And I'm gonna also put this out here. In order for me to get the education that I got, I had to get student loans because I was fresh out of grants. I had 2 graduate degrees. And once you go through undergrad, if you get a master's, you getting a doctorate, you getting loans, period. If you don't get scholarships, and the scholarship sizes I was getting wasn't enough to pay for everything that I needed. So I was out of there. And I was like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to come in my brain just a little bit, because I know there's some of you out here that's thinking the same thing. So then I figured once I got my bachelor's degree, that was going to be it. I'm going to be able to go get a good job, because that's what America told me. Let's be clear. My daddy didn't tell me that. You know what my daddy told me? He said, take that bachelor's degree off your resume and go get you a job. I said, what? He said, try it. I couldn't get a job. I could not get a job. The minute I took it off, I got a call. It was the strangest thing. So what did I do? I went back and I got my master's degree. And not just a master's degree, I got an MBA. What did I do? I went job hunting. Guess what happened? Nothing. I ended up working at a hotel at a front desk. So I said, I'm going to try it one more time. And I ended up getting a doctorate. Yeah. In business ethics. And guess what? When I got through, I had over $97,000 in student loans from my MBA, a portion of my BS. I have a BS in criminal justice, my MBA in advertising and marketing, and my doctorate in business ethics. $97,000. That didn't include the money I was paying out of pocket, because it still wasn't enough, because I thought that if I did everything they told me to do, I would end up with a job. You ain't never lied, Zaid. Well, I ended up working in human resources, but it didn't start that way because I still couldn't get a job. And I took my dad's advice. I took everything off my resume and I ended up working in manufacturing because I couldn't get a job. This is no lie. Why am I telling y'all this story? Not for a sob story, not for anybody to feel sad for me, but because I'm not the only one that this is happening to. Somebody can relate to my story. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job. So I ended up having to do what? I bought a headset and I started taking calls from the house because I didn't know what else to do. The kids had to eat. I had to do something. So I did the next best thing. I started taking calls from home. College educated. And I'm not the only one, like I said, that this has happened to. It doesn't matter your race, color, creed, whatever. They tell you to go get this education. And that's exactly what I did. It's exactly what I did. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. Because why not? True story. Last year, I was still job hunting. Because I just wanted to see, was I crazy? Now, mind you, I have the experience. I have the education. I've been in and out of corporate since I was 20 years old, 25, 20, because 20, I was singing full time, but still, you got to have some kind of business acumen behind you to do that. So I've been in boardrooms since I was a kid. Chrissy, so you understand what I'm saying, right? So I did everything they told me to do. And I would get in these rooms. And they would say, thanks, but no thanks. Or I would get the phone call. And then I would show up. And I didn't look like what my name sounded like. Or what my voice sounded like on the phone. So when I showed up, all of a sudden the position was filled. You understand, Kayshawn, right? Master in Math, Bachelor's in African American and Native American History, right? And I ended up waiting tables. Because y'all told me all I needed was my education. And I could break through the barriers. I could make this money. And I did everything y'all told me to do. I did everything y'all told me to do. I took advantage of the system. Right, you're a dispatch. You get what I'm saying. You understand, Chrissy? We're sitting around here with all of this education because they said that this was the way to the American dream. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. And this hits me hard. Rooms where the frat boys have each other's back and nepotism reigns. Come on now. This is hitting people hard because we did. So when I hear all of this BS about you ought to pay your student loans, I ought to be able to make a living wage off of all of this education that I have. How about that? How about that? Hey, Angie T. DM Ragdale, good to see you. Give me a living wage and be reasonable. Why are my student loans $1,700 a month? Call center at home also. You were frantic. The bills had to be paid. Exactly. I was sitting on here the other day telling people about Hotel Planner. I still pop on every once in a while. I'm not playing. Had a job interview. I thought I aced it. This was last year because I got laid off from my corporate job in HR. It's been 3 years. They didn't give me any reason or whatever. But director of DEI, I was the first to go when they started talking about dismantling it, and it became the thing. This company couldn't wait to get rid of it. Couldn't wait. It took you out this morning, didn't it? And it has nothing to do with the fact that all they're doing is turning the switch back on. Like I said, it's the fact that we have done everything they told us to do. And yet here we are, looking down the barrel of the shotgun going, what? And it's not, here's the thing. And it's not that we don't want to pay it back. If we did everything that they told us to do, we should be able to make a living wage. Garnishments. I told the story before you came in, Angie T, about how they garnished my the U.S. government in 2003. They took my whole tax return and direct deposited me a penny. Yeah. If you are not on an IDR, you need to get on an income-based repayment plan or an income-based deferment plan now. Do not wait. Somebody posted on the post that I did and said, oh, well, I've been calling for 6 hours and can't get in. Yes, they can garnish me. Yes, honey, they're not playing. They garnished my tax returns, baby. This was in 2003. I'm telling y'all, this is not new. They're just turning it back on. I used to always know how close I needed to get before I needed to call and have them send me that IDR form. Yes, it will. Now I'm really showing y'all my business. Yep. Here it is right here. I had them mail it to me. It's not on the website. I had them mail it to me. And you're right, Angie. It's not on the site. I called. And I said, oh, I can't find. Sure did. Y'all know what the form looked like. Boom. All my information just boom right there. Yeah. Guess who's sending this off today? The reason why I'm sharing this with y'all is because I don't want y'all to think I don't know what I'm talking about. It's right here. That man told me when I spoke directly with him, I said, well, it's not there. Because remember, a couple months ago, they removed it. And I said, well, it's not there. He said, that's okay. I'll walk you through it right now. He asked all the questions and XYZ and whatever. Yeah. You got so mad I was hoping you were going live today. Yes, I'm here, honey. Because we need to talk about this part. This is so serious. Y'all, it is there. He said it's not on the site, but it is there. So he emailed it to me, and then I asked him to mail me the copy, and I'll be sending it off today. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make copies of it. I'm gonna fax it, and I'm gonna email it off. I'm gonna mail it off. Yeah, I sure am. Because I knew my time was due. And I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest with y'all, because I don't want anybody to get out here and to be afraid. Somebody mentioned on one of my posts that they had to wait 6 hours. Girl, I waited 2, but I wasn't getting off that phone until I talked to somebody. And I made a decision. Either I'm going to be the first in line, first thing in the morning, and I'll hold, or I'll be the last one and I'll hold. But you said that you open till 9? Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me sit right here and not move. Now, am I guilty? Yeah, because I've had this for 3 weeks. But I was like, oh, let me get on it. Because I kept forgetting. I kept forgetting. I was like, oh, man, I need to go ahead and fill that thing out. Yep. So if you have the information, If it's not there, you can't find it to go ahead and, download it directly, the PDF or whatever, please go on ahead and call them people so they can send it to you. And they can email it to you directly. Now, remember, it is if you are in default. It takes 270 days to be in default. That does not mean to tap dance and wait. It means if you are not 270 days behind, go on ahead and make a move. Again, Miss Girl is not doing anything that wasn't already in place. They're just turning the switch back on. And again, I'm not telling you anything I don't know. I'm sitting here with it's less than 97,000 now, right? Because I've been paying on it since I graduated with my bachelor's, because I had student loans back then, right? So I think I might have like 46,000 left or something like that. But the issue that I have with all of this is, rather than you saying there has to be a better way, go ahead and get that IDR done, or your IBR, because there's two different ones: income deferment, where you don't pay anything, or income based. How you know? Let me tell you how many times I done used it. I'm 54. I'm just keeping it real. So if you need to use it, use it. It's there. Now, you saw me hold up the form. This is not a front. This is the real deal right here. They're getting it today. I'm expediting it. Do not play with me. And I'm going to make a copy. And you're going to get a fax. Yep. And I take names. Who's the last person I talked to? Yep. Mm-hmm. Please make note of that. Again, 270 days means that you are in default. If you are delinquent, handle your business now. I meant what I said in that video, and people were upset and they were mad and you're lying. No. I've been in default before, and I know what that feels like, to have your entire tax return removed from you and you be deposited 1 penny before the birth of your child. The issue again that I'm having is the fact that now is not the time. Of course, Angie T. Of course. Just take notes. Take what you need. If you don't, it spit out the rest, whatever you need. But I cannot in good conscience not come here and have these conversations with you all. The Dow is the lowest it's been since 1932. It ain't time to get scared. It's time to make plans. And we've been talking about this. If you all have been a part of what we've been talking about since the inauguration, you know this is not new, what we're doing. This is, what are the next steps? How do I remain in control of my emotions, my feelings? That's it. It's time to tuck, duck, and cover. Yeah. So many of us that are college educated or certified in something. How many certifications do I have? And I know I'm not the only one. I'm OSHA 30 certified. OSHA 10. I couldn't get a speaking engagement the past, 6 months. It's just now starting to happen. And it doesn't pay much, I'll tell you. Some of us sitting up here, we're LSSG and LSSB and all of these other things and all kind of SHRM certifications, and they're cutting loose their entire HR departments and letting it be run by automated systems. For those who have spent money to get things done, because they told us, get an education. They told us, we got you. Go ahead and fill out that form and XYZ. And so when people who have never paid a student loan, what they don't understand is when I hear this comment, or I was reading it this morning, of course, I'm going to go through sometimes I make a beeline for the comments first, because I want to see how people are talking. And they're saying, oh, it's too bad. You should really, will make OSHA a thing of the past. It really will. And then somebody gonna get hurt again. And then they're gonna have to turn the lights back on that. People like me will be here. What a lot of people don't even know. Let's talk about that OSHA thing and then get back to this. OSHA, most major multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar corporations actually have a budget. Hey, Deals with Nia, have a budget to pay their OSHA fines because they know they're not going to follow. They know. They just bring in people like me. When I was a part of their HR team, they just bring in people like me to make sure that they're compliant or to train the people on what needs to be done. That's all. So when we're talking about student loans, when I see those people and they say, you should have paid your student loans. Oh, what would happen if you didn't pay your mortgage? You didn't pay this, you didn't pay that. What people don't understand is again, people like me and others who made a decision to go get education. See, it's one thing to have the stuff laid on the wall. Mine are in boxes. I don't even hang mine on the wall. What good is it doing me, right? So I went out here and I got all of this education. All of this education. And I ended up having to take calls. Or I ended up having to go back to braiding hair at a shop. Izzy, Carol, Sue. Because I couldn't get a job. I had to take my education off my resume. My dad was the one that told me that. Take it off. It worked. So you're sitting here with all of this education and nobody told you that those jobs were not going to pay you a livable wage. My first job out of college with my bachelor's in criminal science was paying me $9 an hour, and I was working for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. That's a true story. Ronald Reagan is the reason why students and Americans are in debt. Hey, Aline. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, charge it to my eyeballs and not my heart. That's my take on it. This isn't new. Just handle your business and do what you need to do. And do not fall for these fools on the internet and in these interwebs, as my daughter calls it. She was like, I was on the interwebs and I saw where they charging people to take their student loans off their credit. That doesn't mean that you don't owe the debt. And best believe. Okay. See, Kashar, come on with it. Let's go. Because you know I wasn't going to bring that up. But it used to be free. Until what? Until Black folks wanted to go to college. And that's not me being racist. Sip your coffee. Let that sink in. Yeah. I was trying, because I was going to mention it about 3 minutes back. It used to be free. I remember, now this is a true story. I remember my freshman year in college, even though I was awarded the state. Y'all, I got so much grants, so many Pell grants and all kind of grants and SEOGs and oh my God, today it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't need to do anything. My tuition was paid for. I had money for my rent. I was in a 1-bedroom apartment with a Murphy bed. Y'all remember a Murphy bed? I had a Murphy bed. My stove it had 2 eyes and it came with its own pots and pans, and I was a mile away from the college. Oh, I'm old. I'm old. Yes, I lived on the east side of Milwaukee near Lake Michigan. You could see the lake from my apartment. You have one now? To this day, I do every house I've ever had, it has to have a pull-out couch. That little light blue couch in my formal room is a pull-out couch because you never know when you're gonna have guests. Hey Jack, real talk. So y'all, again, when I say it says it's not on there, calling people and have them send you one. It's in your sewing room for when you're. That's why I have mine. When I have guests, pull it out. So again, what have we learned so far today? Woo, we can talk, can't we? So we've learned that the Dow is the lowest that it's been since 1932. We know what that era was. That was the Depression. We know that gold is like 4.41%, according to what I read last night. So it's actually increased just a little bit, but they're working on this monetary change, but that's according to history. That's what's happening. That's what's going to happen anyway. And what would that monetary change be? Start paying attention to crypto. I absolutely would. If you have not already, get you a Coinbase account and start looking. Because right now, I have some friends that started purchasing Bitcoin, and I wish I had joined them years ago, about 2-3 years ago when I first started learning about it. Yeah. Cheers to them because they're doing really, really well. Now they saw a big drop in some of their money, but yeah. So here we are. We are in the middle of this student loan issue, and do not be afraid. Get busy. Make your list. That's what your 6 list is for. What on your 6 list for today? Make sure, because see on my 6 list it says mail off form. Who you calling today? Call your student loan folks. Well, it's gonna take a while. Find something else to do. Watch TV, fry some chicken, do whatever, but don't move until you get a human being on the phone. I forgot what I was doing because I think like I said, I waited 2 hours and I didn't move. Find out what time they open. My office open, this agency hours, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, okay. We know what to do. I was on the phone with them from 6:45 until like 8 something. But I talked to a human being before it was over. The forms are there. They just took them off the site. And actually, if you dig deep enough, you'll find the forms. I actually did find it. That's to get y'all scared and to get you see knowledge. See, when we're not talking, these are things that we don't know. I'm just saying. Okay? So take a deep breath. Please understand this is not new. A lot of you guys who may have just graduated from college or whatever thought that this is the way that no. When I was in default that last time, they took that money and left me with 1 cent. Ooh, that broke my heart. Call them and ask for the form. That's exactly what I did. I asked them for the form and they sent it to me. He emailed it and he sent it to me via mail. Now it's on me. I've had it for 3 weeks. I should have been mailed it on. Right? That's on me. I'm just honesty works. Okay. Now let's talk real quickly about Ksenia Petrova, the 30-year-old Russian born scientist who developed the software crucial to its to cancer detection and aging research. She's been detained by ICE. She was arrested at Boston's airport in February. It's called this one is the income-driven repayment or IDR plan request. They're going to ask for basic information like your social, if you're married, if you're single, right? They'll ask, do we have your permission to look at your IRS forms, blah, 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 to kind of see what you made last year, right? Well, I had already given them my information based upon me as an employee, how much I made last year. So I have an idea of what I'll end up. Yes, she's Russian. Yes. Absolutely. She is Russian. So, Russian-born scientist. She has been held in Louisiana since February, awaiting possible deportation to Russia, where she fears political persecution for opposing the war in Ukraine. Her case puts a spotlight on how America's immigration policies clash with its dependence on global scientific innovation. Mahmoud Khalil, y'all remember him? He got picked up because he protested what's happening in Gaza. Wife was very pregnant. Wife gave birth. He had to witness it over the phone. Yeah. Forced to miss the birth of his first child because where is he? In a detention center in Louisiana. DHS denied his request to attend the birth of his son. The incident is stirring new outrage over how the agency handles family-related humanitarian issues. These people do not care about you. Be it your student loan, your mortgage, your job, how you work, none of it. They do not care. They don't care about sacred lands. They don't care. This is not to bash anybody. It is the truth. Sit down. I reported on this last week. People thought I was crazy, especially on Meta, because whatever I share here, I put here, hey, Andre, how are you? You ready? No, they don't. Not at all. We have to care about each other. We have to be each other's neighbor. Facts. White House is reportedly weighing new policies to incentivize right out of Project 2025, by the way. Incentivize marriage and childbearing, including a $5,000 baby bonus. You saw this one too, Angie. That's how come I had to throw my little thing. It fell off my shirt. Because it's right. Yeah. I read that one. I went live. I used to go live and read Project 2025 at night before the election. And I was telling people then, I would say, y'all, come on now. This is real. They talked about single motherhood, how it had destroyed the family, and and how the man was XYZ. Read it. And this is also a part of Project 2025. White House is reportedly weighing new policies to incentivize marriage and childbearing, including a proposed $5,000 baby bonus. Now, the New York Times is actually the one that reported on this. But again, I reported on this last week. I forgot where I got the information from. But other measures being discussed include reserving 30% of Fulbright scholarships for married applicants or parents and launching educational campaigns focused on women's fertility. The push reflects a broader conservative strategy to respond to America's declining birth rate. I'm about to rip these threads in two. Hey, Geisha girl. Can I read this again? I don't think I got time today. I'm so glad that I got time today. I don't think you all understand how emotional I am because I literally read this in Project 2025 and it's almost verbatim. Y'all, the women in this country are in danger. Let me read it again. The White House is reportedly weighing new policies to incentivize marriage and childbearing, including a $5,000 quote baby bonus. I posted that on Meta and people called me a liar. They told me I was race baiting. How the hell am I race baiting? New York Times reports other measures being discussed include reserving 30% of Fulbright scholarships for married applicants or parents, and launching educational campaigns focused on women's fertility. Me and you both, Keshawn, but I got 3 daughters. Educational campaigns focused on women's fertility. So let me get this right. So y'all going to create an entire campaign just like you did when you created the food pyramid to help the farmers. So you created this BS food pyramid that had nothing to do with the health of humans that were in your school systems, and you started indoctrinating children with this BS food pyramid, telling them that they needed more grains and they needed more cheese and they needed more XYZ so y'all could do what? Can I go there? So we could purchase more of those items. It's real, Carol Sue. Thank you. So if they created a propaganda campaign for the food pyramid, how many of y'all remember that? And we found out later that was a lie. And remember, they told us that we needed lots of grains and we needed lots of this and milk and XYZ. And remember, we talked last week, Monday, about the Black farmer that came forward and said, oh, that program was made for this and that program was made for that, so that we could sell more and get more subsidy from the United States government. So what kind of lie they getting ready to tell us about fertility when it comes to women? That's where I'm going with this. The push reflects a broader conservative strategy to respond to America's declining birth rate. Could it be that women know that some of you men is crazy? Could it be that adult women have witnessed the abuse that their mothers experienced, from being left alone to being beaten and abused and all of the things? Could it be that women have figured out, now I can go to college and I can do XYZ and I know this and XYZ? And thank you so much, Carol. Carol Sue, yes. That part, the white declining birth rate. Yes, Carol Sue, you are absolutely, it has nothing to do with Black and brown bodies. It's the declining birth rate of white folks. That's the concern. And I was trying to skirt around it, but thank you for saying it. So here we are, and I'm feeling like the beginning of The Handmaid's Tale. Y'all, I didn't make this up. This is the news. An educational campaign. When I found out that the food pyramid was a lie, it was all done for sales. What kind of lie do you think that they're getting ready to tell about women's fertility? And who is going to be backing that to make sure that women eat right and that women are this and you should do that and sales for this and take care? You know I'm not far off. Could it be the declining birth rate has more to do with the fact that women have experienced real love of self, as opposed to believing the lie that we've been told so long about being married? It never looked right to me either, especially when they made changes to it and flipped that sucker upside down. It calls for women's clinics. Yes, it does. Angie T, yes. Black Swan, you remember that? 1 minute it was here, meats and fish and poultry, and then the next thing you know, it was flipped upside down, and it was more grains or whatever. And then all of a sudden, everybody in America, big as houses, we swole up. But see, I think it's wisdom. I think we've seen enough in this country to know and understand what happens. I was like, well, how did it change? How did they go? Because they was trying to get rid of all that damn cereal. All the Cheerios, all the kicks. How? Women, infants, and children. I'm just saying. I'm not making this up. The farmer said it. And we've seen this movie before. If you are over 30, a lot of y'all done seen this before. And we know what happens. And if we didn't see it, we learned about it in our history books. And if we didn't learn it in our history books, guess where else we learned it? At the dinner table or around grown folks that were experiencing it at the time. And they were talking loud. And even though they told us back then that children were to be seen and not heard, oh, baby, we were listening. Y'all don't even understand. I hope I'm not the only one that feels like like all the blood done just drained out of my arms. Because this is literally from the Project 2025 handbook. Y'all know I want to go pull it up, right? Because I don't believe some of y'all think fat meat greasy. I really don't. I really, really don't. I really don't. And it's in the very beginning parts of preserving the American family and so forth. You look like this in real life, like, right? Like, this is my hair after the surprise of the day. I just stopped combing it. Just put the headband on. Just pull it back and just keep going, because why? I'm so serious. Whew. Y'all better get with it. When I tell you they come, they are, I'm telling you, and they're excited about it. Right? All day. Just just all day long. You just flipping out. Exactly. If we lived through the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, girl, I seen this. I saw this. I remember. I know some of us are old enough to remember when the gas shortage was and the lines of people trying to get gas. I was in Florida when there was a gas shortage down there. See, people think that that's a lie. I posted something about that. Oh, that's a lie. They didn't have. I was there. We were at FAMU visiting my daughter. I remember the line. Y'all, that was last year. That was last year. That really happened. I had video of us sitting in line for hours trying to get gas. That is not a lie. That really happened. What was funny was us asking Mexico for gas. Yeah. It was crazy. Absolutely. Right, Geisha. I just really want, yes, people carrying cans, trying to carry in plastic. You ever tried to carry gas in a styrofoam cup? It disintegrates in your hands. Ask me how I know. Because we tried everything. We was like, well, we're going to have to get a little bit just to get down the street, to get to another. It was terrible. I wasn't getting back to Georgia. Not that day. I think we ended up getting a hotel, which was not in the budget, by the way. But we ended up having to do what we had to do. There was literally no gas. Almost fighting. You remember that, Geisha? It was ridiculous. And I was a kid. When I first witnessed it, I was a kid. And I thought people were making this up. And then for it to happen last year when I was in Florida, we were dropping my daughter off for her first senior year. That's what it was. I think it was. Well, yeah. Whenever, or we might have been going to a game, whatever it was. Beautiful day. And all of a sudden, the news started to hit. Bam, bam, bam. And I was like, Imani, I think we need to go get some gas. I'll never forget it. The gas crisis of the 70s. First time you saw it. See? So I'm not crazy. So when we telling you stuff like this, like me and Carol Sue and all of the others, if you are Gen X or older, a lot of the stuff that we're witnessing, you can go back in the history books and see what's literally happening right now. It's just history repeating itself. So it's not that we don't care. We've seen this before. We've seen it before. We know that this is not the first time that a president has defied the Supreme Court of the United States. Andrew Jackson did it and made a decision for millions and millions of Native Americans to go through the Trail of Tears because they wanted their land and they put them off their own land. Come on, y'all. This ain't new. We are familiar with all of this. And what did they do with Andrew Jackson? They put him on American currency, didn't they? Here we go. I told y'all the block is hot, baby. The block is hot. The block is hot. Yes. Mm-hmm. Stuck on repeat. Hey, Kimberly Millionaire, how are you? Come on in. Come on in. Y'all missed it. Oh, Jesus. Can we do a recap for those who are just now popping in? Just like the celebration of Christopher Columbus. You working. Yes. Ain't no wrong with that. Actually, here's what I'm learning. That's what I've been doing. I've been working. I just didn't know it because I love what I do. Hey, Fleetwood. So let's go back over what we've learned so far today. 3 things that we covered that are in the news. Actually, a little bit more than that. The Dow is heading for its worst April performance since 1932. We've discussed what was 1932? The Depression. Darkest year of the Depression, by the way. Nearly 100 years later, Wall Street is once again grappling with economic shockwaves on a historic scale. What else did we learn? Harvard Medical School groundbreaking microscope that could revolutionize cancer detection and aging research faces uncertainty. 30-year-old Russian-born scientist has been held by ICE in a detention center in Louisiana since February because she opposes the war in Ukraine. What else did we learn? Mahmoud Khalil, the one that was picked up for opposing what's happening in Gaza. His wife gave birth yesterday to a son, and he was denied an opportunity to see the birth of his son. Now, remember, he is being held without due process. White House is reportedly weighing new policies. I'm going to read this again verbatim because I don't think some of y'all really heard me the first time. White House is reportedly weighing new policies to incentivize marriage and childbearing, including a proposed $5,000 baby bonus. Now, that's according to the New York Times. Other measures being discussed include reserving 30% of Fulbright scholarships for married applicants and or parents, and launching educational, this is the one that gives me the hugest red flag, and launching educational campaigns focused on women's fertility. Imagine the lies that are getting ready to be told. Think Daughters of the Confederacy. The push reflects a broader conservative strategy to respond to America's declining birth rate. Now, the other thing that we talked about was student loans. And we went down a rabbit hole with that one because I'm telling you now, Do not pay attention to these people out here telling you, send me $150 or $200. Baby, if you don't take that $150 or $200 and put yourself on an income-based repayment program and pay your student loans off, don't do it. Side note, 5K doesn't even cover your first few Right, Jess? What are we doing? Come on now. I'm just saying. This is the stuff that we're missing with all of the shenanigans that are going on, right? Yes, let's talk about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and Wilmer and all of the others that are locked up and not being given due process. But I want y'all to also understand it's being used as a distraction while they continue to do all the things that they want to do and implement all of the things. What's the other hand doing? Yes, Black Swan just said it. Grateful Bird, what? Seriously? I still got like 60-something thousand left. So we also talked about this. Some people were saying, oh, I had to wait for 6 hours. Wait some more. Put them on speakerphone. Go fry your fish. Go vacuum. Go do whatever you need to do. Get a human on the phone. I can't find it online. Call them. They'll send you the application. How you know? They're getting it today. I'm sending it today after I go in my little office and I make copies. Swoop, swoop, swoop. Put one in my little file. You're going to get a fax copy of it and you're going to get a mail copy. And I'm thinking I might want somebody to sign for it to make sure you got it. Who did I talk to? Oh, I know their names. 270 days means you are in default. Guess you said make them sign. Trust, when I'm done here, first thing I'm doing. Exactly. While they are making a profit off of the ups and downs of the stock market. Yes. What we are experiencing, like I said before, and I know people, like I said, people want to leave the live or whatever. These student loans and them garnishing paychecks and all of it, that's not new, y'all. They just turned it back on. We got comfortable during COVID knowing that specific things we didn't have to pay for at the time. And during the Biden administration, he forgave a lot of student loans. I was right on the edge of getting mine approved and then boom. Or forgiven, rather. I was like, oh man, I missed it. This is not new. So breathe through it and get up and do what you need to do. And do not be out here, because I'm going to tell you what's getting ready to happen. Everybody's getting ready to go on ChatGPT and create a course on how to fight this, because it's going through this agency or that one or FERP and all the things. And then they're going to make it look pretty on Canva. And then they're going to sell it to you for $200-300. You better pay these people. I'm just saying. They did. They sure did. They garnished wages before. This is not new. Things are moving so fast. There's no way that they could have come up with this. This has been going on. They stopped it during COVID. And Trump's previous administration in 2020 was the one that did it. They'll garnish your wages. If you're a federal employee, they'll garnish your paycheck. If you're getting Social Security, and when I tell you they'll garnish, they garnish. They ain't taking 50. They're taking the majority of it. You just gonna have to figure out how you gonna eat. Period. That's what we've covered so far today. So again, we already know what we have to do is 1209 on my part, but the interest rates are a bag of tricks. It seems like I should have been paid off. Same here, Grateful Bird, or at least I should have had more than half of I had 97,000 in loans. How you end up with that much? Because I ended up with 4 college degrees. And learn real quick, I still wasn't going to be paid what I was worth. One of the reasons why, here's a true story. One of the reasons why I am self-employed to this day is because I couldn't get a job. I got laid off and I couldn't get a job. Ageism is real. Sexism is real. Racism is real. The older that I have gotten, they don't want my old tail sitting in that office with them. Because number one, you got to pay me. And that's a lot of our stories. I don't care what race you are. They promised us that we could have the American dream when we went out here and did what they said we were supposed to do. That's what I hear all the time, Geisha. I'm overqualified. So I end up having to work at IHOP, or I end up having to take calls, or I end up having to start my own business. Thank you, Grateful Bird. I received that. I need to screenshot that. I'm so serious. Car insurance rate. My car insurance rate, baby, listen, my car insurance is so cheap. I don't go nowhere. Unless, of course, I'm going to a client's facility. Unless, of course, I'm going into town. Because my office is here. Or office is. Every portion of where I live is an office. We're running out of room. There's someone here working now outside of me. Too many letters. Exactly. So we did everything they told us to do. Like I said before. Yes, I sound like a broken record. And then they told us, you're not worth that. And then they told us, get another degree and we'll consider it. And then they told us, go get all your certifications. The last job that I was at, I have every year, because most companies give you business space to be written off. You are, listen, who? You know it, Geisha. Before I was over, they owed me. True story. They said, oh, well, we'll pay every year that you're here. We're going to give you a $5,000 a year educational per diem that you can use. You think I didn't use it? Every certification I could get my hands on, I got it. SHRM, OSHA 10 and 30, like I said, Lean Six Sigma, white, yellow, green, you name it, I have it. PMI certified or PMP certified. Guess what? Now I'm overqualified with a doctorate. Make it make sense. Because I did what you told me to do, because you said that it would pay off and I could make six figures and I could do XYZ, and I was making six figures. Let's not pretend that I wasn't. I got the house built from the ground up. I had the vehicle. I had the kids in college, and then we're sorry, we're getting rid of your entire department. And ever since then, with my young self, I decided, well, I guess I'll get out here. It shouldn't be that hard for me to find something. The lies they told. And guess what was happening the whole time? My mortgage was still due. My student loans were still due. And the severance package that you gave me before I got my hands on it, Uncle Sam had took almost half of it. Geisha, do you know how many times I heard that? Why do you want to work here with so much experience? It's a lot I want to say right now. But basically, my mortgage due. I need a job. So what do? When times get hard, you get tougher and you say, okay, well, I'm going to just have to do what I got to do. You go wait tables. You find out about work from home job opportunities and you start taking calls. So when I hear about these sisters and men and women and all of these other people that are working from home for multiple call centers at the same time, I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you, because the cost of living is through the freaking roof. There are people that are in apartments whose rent is more than my mortgage. Can y'all please make that make sense? But you promised me that if I followed this, that I would have the American dream. And then I wouldn't have no problem paying back my student loans because I would have a livable wage to do what I needed to do. Yet here we are. And so when COVID hit and they said no interest on XYZ and we're going to pause those student loan repayments, XYZ, they just turned the lights off on the whole. A lot of us were able to have a breathable moment. To you as well, Fleetwood. I don't know what you mean by damn, but okay. Yeah. We could breathe. A lot of us slept for the first time. I saw a young lady on here this morning, a little white girl, and the poor baby was just crying because she had set up auto pay on her student loans, and it showed that she was delinquent 30 days, and it had tanked her credit score, and she was bawling real tears. She was like, I did everything right. I did everything right. Oh, but listen, I know I'm not the only one, but honey, some of y'all wouldn't be here if you knew the stuff. You would be like, you went through what? What? Huh? Like they say, you'll be all right when the swelling go down. It made me a better person. It made me stronger. It made me honest with people, because if I could make it through it, so can you. I didn't say to it. I said through it. I talk about my royalty checks. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to y'all, tell y'all I have been getting royalty checks this whole time. That would be a lie. I had to fight for that. We don't want to talk about that. And how sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. Man, I had to fight for that. And then I just learned, one of my friends from the group just told me there's another one. Everything will be okay. And let me tell you something that I learned. Ultimately, in the end, everything will be okay. It is a lesson that we all learn. And so knowing that we have the wisdom that we have based upon our age and the experiences that we have gone through, we gonna be all right. Yeah, I'm frustrated by what I'm watching. We'll be around, Fleetwood. I'm here. Yeah, we're upset and we're frustrated. Once you push through that uncomfortable feeling, it doesn't feel as bad. And I'm going to tell you something else, Miss Frankie. Here's something else. It's your path. But here's what we know. Knowing that we've been here before, just with in different lives and experiences and so forth, the one thing that we know is number one, change is the only constant. So guess what? This too shall pass. Number two, the other thing is, since I done seen this before, not only in books and history books, but we're old enough to have remembered when it was going on with our parents, we already know what to do. We're not new to this. What I don't like is watching it happen in real time. And so, yes, I am going to say something and help us to learn how to resist with our dollars. And we know what to do. Project 2025 is in full effect, y'all. They are not playing. I'm telling all mine, and I got 3 daughters. Don't you have no more babies? Yeah, I said it just like that. Don't you have not near another one. We've been targeted. We're not new to this. But I don't like it when I see other human beings who are just out here trying to live their lives being impacted. That's it. So whatever I can do to provide right information. See, here's the difference. I'm not going to give you just a little bit. When y'all hit these lives, you notice we've been giving right information. That's where it's headed, Rebecca. Doesn't it look that way? And again, the information that I provide, this is news that has been researched. I literally researched this before I go live. Black Swan is okay. Facts are the facts. And what we do with that information is we start making moves. Take care of your household. I already told mine, you ain't got to go nowhere. Everybody in here, pay a bill. And they putting us out, Aline. They're like, oh, you don't have a visa? You go back to your country. They're not playing with us. That's it, Rebecca. That's it. All you got to do is get active. Because I've said it before on this live as well. I have said all of us been asleep. Now let's look at the silver lining in this. Number one, we know that change is the only constant. Number two, what is it that the old folks always said? Whatsoever a man soweth in his heart, that he shall also reap. What does that mean? If I sow an apple seed, guess what I'm going to get? An apple seed. I can't get a watermelon, correct? So since we know that, we also know that what this administration is doing, whether it be good or bad, guess what? You what? Reap what you sow. Be it good or bad. So since we know that, we understand that in the middle of all that, all we have to do is what? Continue to keep living. The good in this is we are no longer asleep. If Kamala had got in here, how many of us would have went back to bed and hit the snooze button? I'm just keeping it 100. I didn't say it was right. I didn't say that I liked it. But I have to look at it for what it is. We are not asleep any longer. And America will never be the same. So what do we need to do to shore ourselves up for what is happening? Not what's coming. It's happening right now. That's it. If you have a local community, start shopping local. Go to your flea markets. Spend your money with your local folks. You know what that means? You are building an economy. Hey, Cutter, how you doing? Come on in here. Build an economy with the people that are around you. Let that money stay in your community longer. Now I understand. Almost. Use your local gardens. Plant one. We've been talking about that. Cutter, you missed it, girl. You know we talked about the student loans. That's it. Circulate within your own community. And I'm not just talking about Black folks. I'm talking about American folks living in these communities that we said we all wanted to be a part of. Because he honestly only cares about one. The rich white elite. Let's just call it like I see it. Everybody else, you on your own. Because we're not going to tax the rich. Find out who these people are that's supporting him and help to pay for this inauguration and all of the expenses or whatever. And start making sure that you find other ways of getting the resources that you need and take your money out their pockets. See, history doesn't just need to repeat itself for those who are in leadership positions that quote unquote either got voted in or some kind of slid in or whatever. You gave your loans to Jesus. It's beyond me now. Ooh, Lord Jesus. You missed that part. I'll share some of the snippets from it. Yeah. Thank you for that, Kimberly. All we have to do is recognize again that that's funny, Cutter. Because I've heard a lot of people say that, but we got to be careful with that because they out here garnishing for real. I'm telling you, I ought to know because I've been garnished before. Potato plants and onion plant in your house? Yes, Thomas. You want to be in her district? We just have to make sure that we are taking care of our local businesses. They are the heartbeat of our local communities. These big box retailers is taking their money and they paying off their CEOs and their VIPs. Oh, Jasmine. Yeah. Be the Jasmine in your community, Black Swan. Stay informed and remain diligent in your money, in your finances, what's going on. Yes, know your local food banks because I'm going to tell you something. They lost a lot of federal funding too. Secondhand and thrift stores. We already know about that. Thank you so much, Marsha. You are absolutely correct. Do what we need to do. Hey, God's child, welcome in. And if they helped to put this man in office in any way, you need to make a decision on where your money gonna go. Now, every once in a while, you might not have to slip in through there, but it's somebody in your community that's got that same product or service. Trust. Sorry. It's a lot of news and information, but listen, while we are being inundated with all of the things, we need to pay attention to all of the things, and we need to prioritize what first. You got to put the mask on yourself first, Lucius. How do you do that? Pull that mask down and put it on your face first. What does that mean? Take care of your household first. You cannot survive if you do not do that, people. And this is not fear mongering. Look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Like my girlfriend, Dr. Michelle Josie says. She says it all the time. Numbers don't lie. Look at what's happening. Right? So that's what we do. Hey, C. Thompson, how are you? I'm just saying. I mean, that's it. You got to take care of the house first. Take care of the house. Start using some of these work at home opportunities and stuff like that. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah. I sure hate to leave, y'all. I told everyone I could. No one believed me. Listen. And just keep doing it. Hey, Janie Rios, how are you? That's it. But don't have fractured focus. That's something that I learned from a really good mentor of mine, Lamar Tyler. Don't have fractured focus with too many multiple streams of income. Get one good, strong, multiple stream of income and then expand from there. Because if you're trying to do it all at once, your focus will never be on one and you won't see a result. Y'all already know I have 3, right? BrownstoneWorldwide.com, where we generate some of our revenue from advertisers and so forth, right? Then the other thing is we have Brownstone Living Magazine. And then, of course, Cityscape Radio. I'm working on a television project now. We start filming this weekend. And I love what I do because of y'all. Let me put that out there. So I appreciate each one of you for taking time out of your busy day and your busy schedule to come and hang out with me. It means the world to me. Y'all have no idea, because there was a time that I thought that using my voice, no one heard me. Let that sink in before we wrap up. I didn't think anybody heard me. Me. Grateful Bird, you should come back, girl. Just peek and see if I'm live. Thank you, Geisha. I appreciate that. And it's been difficult. So I'm going to put a little bit of my business out there. Coming from the music industry, I didn't look the part, but I sounded the part. And when you don't look the part, you don't get the part. Which is why I struggled to end up getting my royalty checks for years. And when I finally did, I almost lost my mind. Oh, Angie T. Don't have me up in here crying. Right? So I literally believed because I didn't look the part, no one heard me. Because I was a certain size, or because of how my body was built, and I didn't have all of the swanky whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? And I remember years ago, this man told me, he said, "You'll set the world on fire with your voice. All you got to do is open your mouth." And I didn't understand what he meant until I turned 50. And then it hit me. And then just recently, because of social media, I started on Bigo. A lot of y'all know that. I started on Bigo, I would have thousands of people on my lives, and I absolutely enjoyed it. And then Bigo changed their monetization system, and I said, let me go see what's happening on TikTok. And that's how I ended up here. Okay, Kayshawn, good to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Why am I telling you this? Because when I see that you all are hearing me, and hopefully you're taking things to heed, and I'm not giving you BS, I'm giving you the facts because I'm living through it myself, and you hear me, that matters. And that encourages me to what really pay? What, being on Bigo? Ooh, child. Honey, we need to really talk about that. If you're talking about Bigo, girl, yeah, it paid. Oh my God, today. It does. It does. But not as much as the Creator Fund. I just got my second payment from Creator Fund, and it was bigger than the last one. I put it like that. It's a lot I'm still learning. Like, I'm also a TikTok Shop affiliate, and what I'm learning is that Substack has a program where you can monetize immediately. YouTube has a project, I'm monetized in a portion of that, and Meta I'm monetized as well. It wasn't what I was trying to do. I'm going to be honest with y'all, because I always say these are not your platforms. They'll change on you on a dime. That's why I have Brownstone Worldwide. Brownstone Worldwide is where the money is made. You got $1.64 in your life, and it's okay. Girl, you ever see people that stay on here for hours? That's why. That's why I stayed on. I used to go live on Bigo for 8 hours at a time on Sundays. You about to hit 1,000 followers? Girl, go live. Go live when you hit your 1,000. And let some folks know so we can come in and support you. You listening in your truck, Fleetwood said, hey, do you have your CDLs? My son-in-law has his. And he was telling me, my daughter was telling me how he's being impacted by the tariffs. Who I'm telling business. That's all I'm gonna say, because I'm on Facebook too, and I know she might see this. You have the affiliate program. So what I'm trying to do is figure out how, as a creator, I can do the TikTok affiliate program as well. You don't know how to work it? I'm on Amazon too, but because of how I'm feeling about Amazon right now, I paused. So I have to make some decisions. 2 jobs, 39. See, look at this. Rebecca, Cutter, Angie. I know Deals with Nia. She's still on here. And Kim, everybody's got a million different things that we're doing. A million different things that we are doing to make these coins. Yeah. She said negative. What? Oh, she sure did. I didn't see that. 2 jobs, 39 hours a week. Oh, my goodness. Let me tell y'all what I'm getting ready to start doing. Y'all keep playing with me. I'm going to start sharing some more work from home opportunities with y'all. And I don't know if that's something that you would consider. And some UGC work too. But that's not my forte. I'm going to tell y'all who to go to. Kimberly Millionaire. I don't even know if she's still teaching that class. But listen, y'all, it is 12:30. I got to go to our back. See, that's another thing. Overdraft fee. Well, honey, I'm with a credit union. My overdraft fees never went nowhere. You ready, Cutter? So listen, y'all know what I'm getting ready to say? 3 things that I always like to tell everybody before we end every single live. 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace everything that is your life, because you only get one you. Pause. Kimberly said classes start next Tuesday. Go follow Kimberly Millionaire. If you are not following Kim Millionaire, right? K Millionaire Official right now, go follow her and get in her class. I am a living testament to the class working. I worked it. I attended her lives and her Zooms, and I applied it. I applied it so much. My daughter was watching me, and what did she do? That thing making money right now. And she just watched me. She gets more clients than I do. Make that make sense. But she was like, Mama, you cannot. I was like, okay, if you sit here. And she watched me do it. And do I make money from it? Just got paid yesterday. Like I said, when y'all see me in these internet streets, y'all be like, that's Paulette on the mic. That's Paul. What is she doing selling underwear? What is she doing selling skincare for the neck? Just mind your business. Just know I got paid this. Because my daughter ended up doing one for a movie that came out called If, Imaginary Friend. Yeah. If y'all go over to If, it was a cartoon / something, but the movie was called If. She did the commercial for them, and they loved it so much that they didn't pick anybody else. She did that. So we had to turn the whole house into a set. Every room has a corner or something where you can sit or you can do specific things in. And then we use plants or whatever, or we created several different libraries around the house and stuff like that. That's one of my biggest ones is they like talking heads. I've learned new phrases, just all the things, right? Oh, honey, it's a tripod on the back porch right now for a commercial she cut last night. So the work is out here. So y'all hit up K Millionaire Official on TikTok. For those of you all who are watching on Bigo, Meta, and YouTube, hit her up and take her class. I know it's probably in her Stan store. Go ahead and check her out. I'm telling you, who else is on here? Deals with Nia. She'll tell you. Anybody else that's on here that took her class, please take her class. It is worth it. And when I tell you I made my money back within the first 4 weeks, it was ridiculous. And I still got offers I need to go through right now. Yes, even in the middle of running the company. But you got to remember, I don't run it by myself. Where was I? 3 things that you should remember. And I always tell everybody before we end every single show. 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace everything that is your life, because one day you won't be here. You only get one you might as well enjoy it. And lastly, breathe through every single moment. We'll see you around. Y'all know I'm on my way to the post office.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.